Hello builders, constructors, block stackery people. Today we are going to look at what's in the box of this new game from AEG, designed by John D. Clare, called Rolling Heights. Here's the back of the box. Kind of shows you what you're going to be doing. You're building 3D buildings, using little meeples, roll them around. Here's all the components. 60-minute playtime, 1 to 4 players, 10 plus, and more components. Whee! So again, we are going to look and see what's inside this box. Alright, so when you lift off the box lid, first thing you'll come into is the rule book. There's the introduction, the component list, all the components laid out, the overview and the setup, the picture of a setup, starting placement, your game turn, phase 1 prep, phase 2 risk, and the main phase. And then what all the different meeples do, because in this game you're going to be rolling meeples in a little building, which I'll show you as we look at the rest of the components. Buying and placing new building plans, construction buildings, completing buildings, cleanup, miscellaneous cubes, game end scoring, special thanks, the credits, building clarifications, and then on the back, add clarifications, target clarifications, and then an icon reference. Okay. Next up we have the solo rules. It's one sheet, front and back, and then you have the components inside of the box. So you have a bunch of these little things, which are the cubes that you'll be collecting with your workers. So there's a bunch of those. These are the big cool component of the game that's going to make your buildings 3D. And give me 1 second. I have some here in my pocket so I can illuminate to you how they're done. So as you can see, you have the little blocks. You're going to put them. Then you're going to grab another one. Stack it on top. And you're going to be building these cool buildings. Typically they're all going to be together, like you're going to have like a stack of 2 clear or 3 and all that. They're not going to be all random, but it is that cool toy factor that you can then do. Topple! So again, that's all those. And then these ones are your ownership markers, so we know who owns the buildings in the player colors. And then you have your player markers for the score. You have a first player marker guy right here, a builder. Whew, forgot to close that bag. So you have these wild tokens, and at the end of the game they're going to be worth 1 point if you don't spend them. Here's a bunch of meeples that you'll be rolling. And these are a bunch of various colors because they're all going to do different abilities. Here are the rolling boxes that you'll have. Right now I am storing the blueprints of these with the tiles. I'm going to lay these out and show you these in depth. But just to give you an idea of the meeples, so you have your little rolling box here. You're going to have meeples at the start of your turn. You're going to shake them and you're going to put them in there. If they're standing, they're working really well, working hard. And then if they're tilted, they're working a different way. And then if they're laying down, then they're exhausted. So as I said, you're just going to be rolling meeples into the boxes. Next up we have these target tiles. Again, I'll show you these in a minute. You have your purchasing tracks for the main board. You have the scoreboard, which shows you what each worker does and whether it's when they're laying on their edge or when they're standing up full. But again, like I said, this is also the score track, and you have some cool art on the back. You then also have these different map tiles that will be constructing the player board. That'll be giving you points. And these get laid out a certain way based on player count. Badow. And one more. And then add tokens, which I will also lay out to show you in a minute. Alright, but like I said, a bunch of meeples, a bunch of cool cubes that stack, rolling boxes, blueprints. So let's go ahead and take a look at all those different blueprints. Alright, now we're back to look at all the tiles. Let's start with the level 1 tiles. So these tiles have a little bit of information on them, as you can see. You have the name of the location. These are where you're going to stack those cubes. This tells you what color cubes and how many, because you'll be covering those up. This is how many points you get when you complete it. And if you get a worker, you get to choose one of these if it's a double colored symbol. Otherwise this would just be a blue. And this is the type of building it is, which may reference to where you're putting on the map, might get you bonus points or something else. So as you can see, a wide variety of different types with some cool names on them. Pretty good iconography too. Once you get playing it, it all kind of makes sense and you get used to them. I'm going to take a small break here in the middle. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are for the solo game. That's the other side. And here's the back of the level 1s. There's level 1 on them. Move over here to the level 2s. So these tiles have a little more on them. This one here gives you this little purple worker guy. And this is the only thing you can do with the purple workers is different locations have different abilities. You can trigger them once per turn with a purple worker, but you can't use the same one twice. So that's kind of what the purple workers do, is they trigger the buildings that you'll be, in essence, getting them from also. So again, here's all the level 2s. And their back, of course, says level 2. Next up, we have the advertisements. These are end of game scoring that everyone's going to score for. You're going to choose randomly 3 of them. These are what the back of tiles look like. So you'll randomly choose 3 of them, put them out, and then you'll all score these at the end of the game. Over here are the target tiles. Each player will get 2 of these at the beginning of the game. And at the end of the game, they'll choose one of them and score them based on their stuff. So individual goals, universal goals, level 1 tiles, level 2 tiles, and then the 1 through 6. I will say, due to a production issue, they weren't able to include a 6-sided die in the game, unfortunately. However, we all should have a 6-sided die laying around, and you can just use that for the solo game. So that was what was in the box of Rolling Heights, a new John D. Clare game from AEG. Have a good day while I go skyscraper in.